It's the most interesting thing, the most unbelievable thing that happens when you're making pottery is that you have this imagery of what you're going to do on the piece. And all of a sudden, it's there, but it's really not. So you have to put aside, then you have to start all over again. There's a spirituality that goes on between the clay and you. Everyone is creative, but with actual potters, artists, you find that they have different levels of creativity in their lives. Mine basically comes from just the traditional work that I went through the schooling that I went through with my great-grandmother, my mother. She was making pots in her kitchen, in her living room, outside, and so the studio was absolutely everywhere.
The word for earth is nung. The word for us is nung. That to me is so explosive, because what it means to me is that it talks about how deeply we feel about our connection to the earth.
Table culture, to a certain extent, to part of it is that you follow that matriarch, you watch and you listen and try and adapt your own life to those lessons that she's taught, the lessons that you've learned from her through just watching and being around her.
You didn't understand the impact of it because it was how you lived daily. Everything from making pottery to her designs to her imagination just comes very natural to her. And my father being a fine art painter, there was always conversation in the house about art. It was just what we did.
I wasn't happy working outside of the Pueblo. I had 3 small children, and I just thought, what can I do to stabilize my life? Then I started selling my pots, and that made it much easier for me to make a living. But it wasn't as wonderful as my neighbors or the other people around me. So I thought, okay, I need to do something that is a little different. I need to take that extra half a step over to make others notice. So that's at the point where my creativity changed, because with traditional pottery, it is so structured, it's in a box. You have to climb out of that box to be able to do something else.
I absolutely see Jody as the matriarch of contemporary Pueblo pottery. I first came across Jody's work on a field trip as a student. I remember at the end of the exhibition, there was a single pot alone, and it was contemporary Pueblo pottery. So I see this pot in the museum. I'm trying to be a traditional potter, but I'm not a traditional person, okay? So, bam, I have this epiphany that I don't have to be.
You know how freeing that is? No matter if, somebody comes up to you and really lets you know it's not okay, and it's not traditional, and it's not how things are done. There's something unbelievably freeing about that. So I think it's worth all the risks you take.
What's contemporary today is traditional tomorrow, and what's traditional today was once contemporary in its time. So the natural evolution or exploration of pottery as an art form.
I think the Western mind focuses on intelligence as far as the head is concerned, the brain is concerned. But for the Pueblo world, I think why creativity can be natural is because we think that our intelligence is right here.
I am so connected to the land through my clay. And when you go dig your clay, you pray. And you ask the clay mother, give me the knowledge, the understanding, the compassion to be able to make what you want. So that there is this connection always between your clay and you. It's almost, in a sense, religious. In your own world, religion, that's your religion.
Her pottery itself is such a representation of that strength, and almost when you look at them, it's like, how hard would you have to drop the pot for it to crack or for it to break, just because the lady is so, in my mind, almost unbreakable. She's just that rock of life for us, I think.
Her mind is so sharp, and her creativity is equally as sharp. So I think sometimes people don't know what to do with her. And I also think, depending on the situation, you can't categorize why you're having the reaction you're having to her or her work, her as an individual, or her as an artist, or her as a woman, or her as a Pueblo woman. I think my mother has proven herself in being able to stand alone, absolutely, in her artwork. At 80 plus years old, she's still going, and she still has things to say.
So at that point, you're saying, okay, you're all of these things, you're traditional, you're contemporary, you're super contemporary, and you're what? I don't know. And that's the direction I think that I like to take, is I don't know.